Need to get some momentum. Finally used to it from stopping.
I'm not sure if you can hear me, but we can't hear anything you guys are saying.
You didn't come through on the line.
Could someone maybe wave just to kind of like you can hear me? Can you hear us?
I don't see now. Yeah.
I'll try and unmute Hunter Room's track. Online, can you hear us now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jacobs?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
I'm sorry, just me again. Sorry, we just missed the entire introduction.
yeah, we did. We missed all of it.
Would it be possible to repeat that just so we're all clued up on that?
I don't think the crowd wants to hear it all again. But essentially said is we allow everybody 3 minutes to be heard. We expect them to be heard in silence and treated with respect. When we've heard from everybody, the panel will have a private meeting to consider its decision, but this is your opportunity to have your say. Please proceed, Kim.
Okay. I'm here today to object to the proposed McDonald's development at 370 Main Road, Chickley. This is not simply about fast food, it's about protecting the character, safety and well-being of our community. The proposed site is directly opposite our public school. Everyday children walk past this location. Placing McDonald's here sends the wrong message about health and nutrition, and it risks normalising junk food as part of their daily routine. Beyond health, there is the issue of odour. Anyone who has lived near a fast food outlet knows the constant smell of frying oil and waste. This is not an atmosphere we want drifting through our streets, our homes and our school grounds. It diminishes the quality of life of residents and visitors alike. Alongside odour comes the inevitable problem of garbage. Fast food outlets generate significant amounts of packaging waste, cups, wrappers, bags that often end up scattered in the streets, especially over at our beaches, parks and schoolyards. The litter not only spoils the appearance of our local area, but also creates extra burden on council services and residents who must clean up after a multinational corporation. Traffic is another serious concern. A McDonald's drive-thru will bring a steady stream of cars, delivery trucks and late night activity, which will worsen congestion on an already busy intersection, increasing the risk to children walking to and from school, and create parking pressures in an area not designed for that much volume. Finally, this proposal threatens the very character of our local area. We pride ourselves on being a community with a unique identity, local shops, small businesses and a welcoming atmosphere. A multinational fast food chain would erode that charm, turning our community into just another fast food stop instead of a place that people love. In short, this development is incompatible with our values, our safety and our local community vision for the future. I urge Council to reject this proposal and protect our school children, our residents, our beaches and the special atmosphere that makes our area what it is. Thank you.
Thank you. All within time. Has any panel members got any questions? Thank you, Kim, very much. Feel free to, one of the other things I said at the outset was you could stay on or go off as you wish.
Okay.
But turn your microphone off. Next listed speaker is Richard Tapscott. G'day,
How are you? Is there a microphone here or?
we can hear you quite.
Cool, excellent. Okay, I'm a local resident. I live just around the corner from Steve Kennedy Smash Repairs and I frequent that intersection regularly, daily in fact. Now, I know firsthand how busy that intersection is, especially at school times. There's cars going left and right, and it is really quite dangerous. Anyway, that's that. I think the proposed position of this development is totally inappropriate due to the proximity of the Tukley Public School and the soon-to-be childcare centre opposite the school. Children would be subject to extreme and ongoing exposure to this fast food chain, which in view of the current childhood obesity problem is the last thing we need. The intersection of Evans Road and Main Road is extremely busy, especially during school drop-off and pickup, which will be further exacerbated by a fast food outlet right on the junction. It's a catastrophe waiting to happen. Given the amount of money involved in this development and the potential profit for the applicant, I feel that the granting of this submission against the large community objection should and will bring into question the integrity of this panel and council. A fast food outlet operating 24/7 will encourage homes into the area and generally upset the peaceful village atmosphere of East Tukley. A far more suitable site would be the vacant land opposite the ambulance station in Tukley town centre. But obviously this location does not offer a captive audience, as does the proposed location, which is why this location has been chosen by the applicant. Due to the recent automation of this fast food operation, the amount of employees will be minimal. The council was elected to listen to and to serve the people, not to be at the best of a big multinational corporation. I have a petition here signed by over 700 local residents that I would like you to consider. Thank you. Oh, yes.
We'll consider it if you give it. The next speaker listed is Jared Ryan.
Somebody's left their phone here.
Oh, yeah, that'd be me as well. Thanks, Max.
Okay, thank you for listening to me, panel members. My name is Jerry. I live 4 doors down. I'm 382 Main Road. So 4 doors from this proposal. I had planned on coming here today to actually read out what I thought was an articulate, well thought out objection to the development. However, yesterday when I looked at the agenda minutes, I realized that it was a proposal. It was rubber stamped as approved. And reading that 56 pages, I felt pretty sick to my stomach. So now I won't read this out. Instead, I've had to pivot and come up with a few points about it because I just think it's awful that it's going ahead. I've noticed that the DA has been approved. I've read through the objections and the conclusions which override the objections within that approval. I think that from my point of view, it's completely been rubber stamped. And when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about certain things like the noise will be mitigated by 50%. Where has these figures come from? Who is going to tell me that after a certain amount of time, we're not going to have the same volume of traffic through the takeaway? I have a very real issue with the signage and the proximity to my bedroom. I'm on a 2-story level as where I sleep. I've got a window facing the top of Aldi, and that sign, if you look at the plans, is roughly 2 to 3 meters above the Aldi parapet, which means it shines right into my bedroom. Now they tell in the determination, I can see that they're saying, oh, low wattage doesn't cause any glare, doesn't cause this, but who would want 4 doors down a big McDonald's sign shining into their bedroom? I have not seen the amendment or any discussion on the hours of operation, even 24 hours, 24/7 a day. Now, bar a petrol station that operates in the area, there's nothing else like it. There's nothing close to having 24/7 operation. How is it possible that within that rubber stamp approval that nobody has mentioned these hours of operations? Next thing I'd like to discuss quickly is I understand it's in an E1 zone, which allows for it. What you have to look at, if you check the maps in the agenda, that is completely surrounded by R1. It's residents, it's houses like myself. How is this possible that we can have a 24/7 restaurant and a McDonald's on that corner in that location? I'm not exactly saying no to McDonald's, but it's a wrong location. It cannot happen. Noise generator I discussed. Sorry about this. I know that the DA is a box ticking exercise. I understand that we follow rules and regulations. We can say tick the box, yes, it meets certain criteria, but where's the box for common sense? We don't have common sense. That should not be there. It's right against my house, 4 doors away. We have over 300 objections. We have petitions. We've had a protest on the corner. Essentially, what we're saying is people don't matter. The community doesn't matter if this is allowed to go ahead. Thank you very much.
Mr. Ryan? I think I heard him loud and clear. I don't know. Ruth Castelli.
Thank you, panel. My name is Ruth Castelli and I'm speaking on behalf of the Honourable David Harris, MP, Member for Wyong. Thank you for the opportunity to make a submission on behalf of local residents regarding the proposed McDonald's development at the corner of Evans Road and Main Road. I have cabinet responsibilities, so I can't be there in person. This intersection is already one of the most constrained and complex traffic points in our community. It carries through traffic along Main Road, cars entering and exiting Aldi, school traffic for Tukley Public School, and increasing volumes from nearby childcare centres and residential growth. Residents consistently report heavy congestion, long queues, and difficulty turning safely during peak periods. Introducing a 24-hour dual-lane drive-through McDonald's at this location dramatically intensifies those pressures. The proponent's own traffic report identifies substantial additional vehicle movements, yet we believe the modelling underestimates real-world conditions, particularly at school drop-off and pick-up time, where traffic already banks up along Main Road and Evans Road. The key concerns raised by the community include: 1, congestion and queuing. The intersection is already operating near capacity. Additional drive-through traffic risks queuing back onto the main road, causing further delays and increasing the likelihood of rear-end collisions. 2, turning movements and safety risks. The proposed access points, particularly right turn movements into and out of Evans Road, create conflict points that will increase crash risk. This is a high traffic arterial road with limited margin for error. 3, pedestrian safety, especially children. Tukley Public School sits directly opposite the site, with hundreds of children walking, cycling, or being dropped off daily. A new preschool sits only metres away. Residents are deeply concerned that increased traffic movements and reduced visibility will compromise child safety. 4, cumulative impact not fully considered. Aldi, existing shops, school zones, bus stops, the nearby preschool, and local businesses already compete for limited space and turning opportunities. Residents argue that the DA fails to account for the combined pressure on the local road network. 5, 24-hour operation. Around-the-clock drive-through introduces late-night traffic, noise and antisocial behaviour concerns, adding to pressure on the Evans Road corridor and surrounding neighbourhood. More than 400 objections and petitions make clear that this is not an isolated concern. It is a widespread community warning about road safety, congestion and quality of life. Residents are not opposed to development. They are asking for development that is safe, suitable and does not exacerbate an already problematic intersection. On behalf of the community, I urge the panel to consider these very real lived impacts and prioritise the safety and well-being of local families, especially the children who use this precinct every day. For these reasons, we ask that the panel refuse the proposal in its current form. Thank you.
Ms. Cowley? The one with the all black?
Yes. Trying to keep occupied.
Good afternoon. My name is Ali, and I'm here to raise ecological concerns relating to the threatened grey-headed flying fox and the risk that this development poses to a known commuting corridor that passes directly over the proposed McDonald's site. Toukley is a recognised flying fox habitat. The grey-headed flying fox is listed as vulnerable under both New South Wales and Commonwealth legislation. Central Coast Council's own flying fox management strategy identifies a Toukley flying fox camp, historically occupied by around 3,000 individuals located in and around the Toukley wetlands and the golf course area. That camp remains an ecologically significant site, and residents continue to observe flying fox activity in that locality. We have some photos here showing the foxes flying directly over Toukley Public School and evidence of excrement on a property nearby from a flying fox last weekend. Path that we take. When two observation points between Michelle Ave and 7th Ave are mapped, they form a clear straight line flight path consistent with flying fox commuting behaviour. That path runs directly across the Main Road and Evans Road intersection, exactly where this proposed development is. Flying foxes commute in habitual linear lines between roosting and feeding areas, which reflect a movement corridor. At present, then the light barrier that is, I'll start that again. The proposed McDonald's creates a major light barrier in a dark corridor. At present, this area is a relatively low light environment. The surrounding residential streets, the Toukley Public School grounds and the northern wetland edge remain dark conditions which are essential for nocturnal species. The Commonwealth National Light Pollution Guidelines for Wildlife state that the lighting near flying fox movement routes can disrupt navigation, cut off animals from food and water, force detours and increase energy expenditure, reducing their breeding success and resilience. Placing a brightly lit commercial outlet directly beneath the commuting corridor for a vulnerable species represents a clear ecological risk. No assessment has been done. Despite the presence of the recognised camp, the DA does not include a flying fox survey, no dusk emergence assessment, no commuting corridor mapping, no lighting impact analysis, and no threatened species test of significance as required under the Biodiversity Conservation Act. Given the species protected status and clear evidence of a local movement corridor, the absence of this assessment is a serious deficiency. The request to the panel is that you apply the precautionary principle. If the applicant cannot demonstrate through proper ecological investigation that the development will not harm a threatened species or fragment its commuting habitat, then the application should not be approved. We request that the panel require a targeted flying fox survey, mapping of the commuting corridor and a lighting impact assessment consistent with national wildlife guidelines. Until such work is completed, we respectfully submit that the only responsible decision is to refuse this DA. Thank you.
Yes, Johnny.
Sorry, Tess, just one question. So that is actually the common pathway, is it, for white foxes? North to south.
So residents in the group that we've had, I think some of them live in 7th Ave. There's other people that live in Michelle, and there's that path that they take each night.
To the north, so in the evening.
Yes, so that's the golf course and the wetlands area.
Yes.
And that's Michelle Ave. Here's the proposed site. So each night they take that same path from one spot.
Okay, so they feed in the south there, is that what they do?
They feed in the park there.
Well, I mean, it's a big park.
They feed, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Another question?
More reason for a survey.
Yes. I'm in Michelle. Michelle Avenue, we watch the fly over every night.
Jessie Milani?
Good afternoon, panel members. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. I oppose this development application on the grounds of scale, built form and fundamental incompatibility with the E1 local centre zone and the surrounding residential community. E1 zone objectives are explicit, vibrant and walkable local centres, development compatible with adjoining neighbourhoods, local shops, small business premises and community facilities that residents can walk. A large format dual lane, potentially 24 hours. I think it is going to be 24 hours from what I understand, and highly illuminated signage at McDonald's and hundreds of daily vehicle movements is the opposite of that vision. It is a regional traffic attractor, not a neighbourhood serving use, and it reads as a highway service centre, not an integrated part of a village high street. The site is tiny and highly constrained, directly opposite Toukley Public School, surrounded on three sides by low density R1 housing at an already congested and crash prone intersection on a sensitive edge between the local centre, white family residential neighbourhood. The proposal is physically outsized for the site. The drive-through lanes are car stacking and consume almost the entire footprint, leaving no room for genuine pedestrian oriented frontage. The building bulk, signage height, lighting and the signage towers will overwhelm the single-storey homes and the school opposite, completely altering the human scale character of Norville and Toukley. Operationally, the late night 24-hour trading, constant vehicle movements, headlights and the noises from the intercom and illuminated signage will cause unacceptable loss of amenity for nearby residents and compromise safety for hundreds of school children who walk past every day. This is not about whether the community wants a McDonald's somewhere. It is about whether this site in this zone with these surroundings is remotely suitable for a development of this size and intensity. It is not. The proposal fails to meet the zone objectives, is grossly out of scale, presents an unacceptable build form and will cause undue adverse impact on neighbourhood character and amenity. I respectfully ask the panel to refuse the application.
Ian Rhodes.
Good afternoon, panel. My name is Ian Rhodes. I am a self-employed community planner and a local resident for 10 years. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. I'd like to draw your attention to the inconsistency with this proposal with Toukley Planning Strategy Precinct 8 objective, which says active commercial retail at ground floor, shop top housing above. And it is inconsistent also with Council's adopted community strategic plan, which says that centres such as this will ensure development, land use planning preserves the local character and heritage of the area. This site will quarantine this location from affordable housing for a generation to come. Efficiency in reporting. The SLR consultant's odour report contains no data about the volume, ventilation requirements, emission rates, waste storage or volatile organic compound emissions from this proposal. It incorrectly states that there are residential receptors more than 60 metres away from this development. And in fact, there is NDIS housing 45 metres away to the north and the east. When the wind blows from the southwest, as it does half the year, those houses will be blanketed in volatile organic compounds. There is also deficiency in design with respect to accessibility. There is one car space for ambulant parking. Now, we know that 80% of disabilities are invisible. There has been no assessment or attempt to make any provision for visual assistance technology, appropriately coloured signage for patrons that might attend that site with an invisible disability. We, as you know, are in the bottom 20% on the CIFA index in Toukley District. It's a neighbourhood that is disadvantaged both in chronic health terms and in income. Providing high cost, low nutrition food outlet in the middle of its socially disadvantaged community when compared to home cooked meals will further exacerbate chronic health issues in our area. There have been unaccounted risks in the preparation of the traffic study. We know that there are approximately 300 students attend Toukley primary school and attend that school in a north-south direction, Evans Road, in the evening. There will be a direct conflict with the ingress and egress for this proposal at those hours every day of the week. There is an adequate plan of management has been prepared by the proponent, which states that staff will collect litter from the development's frontage only. We know that when people leave that facility in a car, some people will deposit litter on roadsides further away from that. We are surrounded by a wetland that is of national significance. That litter, when it lands on the ground, will be further desiccated by council mowers and end up in the waste stream in our wetland. I respectfully suggest and request that you refuse this development. Thank you.
Right, so Doreen.
We have Dennis speak. For Doreen.
Good afternoon, Chair and panel members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of Doreen, myself, and a deeply concerned community. I wish to outline several issues with this proposal. Firstly, the DA contains critical errors and misleading information. The development was advertised in the wrong suburb, listed as Noraville, as our chairperson has already stated, instead of Tukley. Even though every technical report, including those from council and the applicant, correctly identifies the site as Tukley. This is not a minor administrative slip. It affects notification, public awareness, and the transparency of the entire process. The description is also misleading. The DA refers simply to demolition, takeaway food premises, signage and tree removal. Yet the proposal, as we now know, is a 24-hour McDonald's, bringing high volumes of traffic, noise, lighting, delivery trucks, late night activity and antisocial behaviour, impacts that the vague description on the DA does not quite seem to capture. Secondly, the proposal breaches multiple mandatory DCP controls. It provides only one waiting bay instead of two, a 50% variation to the standards, insufficient bicycle and no motorcycle parking, no outdoor seating, inadequate landscaping that fails to meet the design requirements, and an oversized pylon sign. Mandatory controls exist to protect safety, amenity and character. When a proposal cannot meet the basics, it is a clear indication that the site simply cannot accommodate this development. Thirdly, contamination risks make this location unsuitable. The site has nearly 80 years of industrial use, including blacksmithing, mechanical workshops, panel beating and spray painting. Testing has already identified PFAS and heavy metal contamination above safe limits. Even marginal exceedances are still exceedances, and with homes, primary schools, preschools and NDIS supported residences surrounding this site, these risks cannot be dismissed nor downplayed. A 24-hour fast food operation is incompatible with a contaminated, high sensitivity environment of this nature. In conclusion, due to the incorrect and misleading DA information, the multiple breaches of mandatory planning controls, the unresolved contamination hazards and the significant community concern, this proposal is unsuitable and should be deemed refused. Thank you for your time.
Excuse me, panel, may I ask a question? Is there a microphone on the stand?
No, there's not.
That's a pity.
Talking after the people that can't hear.
It's a pity because it's very hard to hear.
Sorry about
Others.
Are you recording it? Without a microphone?
But we'll just get with you guys here. See if they should bring a microphone up as well.
Yeah, we're going to try and get you a microphone.
It's pretty stock standard.
And there's microphones in here for the live stream.
Same piss pool.
And it was.
Your reaction.
You mean from a lifesaver over there?
Yep.
Speaking to me.
Yeah. We'll change that one.
Yeah, because he's.
It's like two.
Sure, they're gonna say that with. Yes, exactly.
I'm gonna start in the interest of time, so I'll wait for the microphone. I can be loud.
You can be loud and you can turn a little bit more towards, particularly the lady down the back who's having.
That'll help.
Down the back. We can hear.
You'd like to.
You're Joanne Worsley.
Hi, my name's Joanne Worsley. I'm a previous student of Tukley Primary School, qualified dietitian, educator, graduate of the University of Newcastle with 30 years experience and mother of 3 who has lived in that corridor where the bats go over for 46 years. Already picking up a lot of litter on my daily walk out to Hargraves and Nora Head. We live in one of the lowest socioeconomic areas in the country. 65% of children at Tukley fall into the bottom quartile of socioeconomic disadvantage. So my school website lists Tukley Primary in the bottom 9%, which means they are more at disadvantage than 91% of Australians. Okay. Obesity, type 2 diabetes are on the rise in young children. Kidney failure, heart disease are in the rise in adults. McDonald's are clearly targeting vulnerable people here, selling convenient, expensive, ultra highly processed foods that are high in fat, salt, sugar and have little nutritional value are only going to place added pressure on an already struggling local healthcare system. Those that eat fast food are often the ones facing financial hardship, and it's strongly linked to weight gain, depression, anxiety, mental health issues, and more recently, an increase in binge eating disorders. Energy-dense snacks and sugary drinks are now replacing fresh food for many. I could read the statistics out for weight loss of the overweight people, but I'll miss that bit. The medical journal, The Lancet, this week, 43 of the world's leading experts suggest that a dependence on overeating poor quality ultra-processed food leads to chronic disease and health death. This systematic review and editorials hot off the press this week state that urgent action at local and national levels be taken to tackle this obesity epidemic. McDonald's business generates huge profits by targeting marketing, selling these ultra-processed foods to children, which undermines any efforts towards public health policies such as the local Go for Fun program and at the Central Coast that supports healthy eating in families. What message is this sending to our children, allowing this type of food to be constructed literally right under their noses? How will children concentrate with the smell of cheeseburgers flowing through the playground? A local dietitian colleague who works directly with our local overweight children and their parents is extremely concerned. She often sees families that try to provide healthy lunch boxes only to have it all come home. She imagines this scenario will increase, causing more financial stress as food will be wasted, then parents will be pressured to go through a drive-through and purchase a late lunch. Having filled up on this ultra-processed food, the children will be less likely to eat the healthy dinner that's been prepared for them and resort to more unhealthy snacks later on at night. It's not right that we allow McDonald's to be built this close to a disadvantaged area primary school. It's not the message we want our kids reading every day as they cross this busy road. The New South Wales Healthy Eating and Active Living Strategy 2022 to 32 aims to support healthy eating and active living by creating policy around healthier environments and promoting behaviour change around schools. But here we are, local residents, begging you to stop this development from happening in our community. This Lancet systematic review, the highest quality of scientific evidence, specifies that change needs to start with local policy actions and wider public health strategies to promote and support diets based on fresh food and not encourage a reliance on processed food. Hospitals and renal dialysis units are under enormous pressure already, and it's only going to get worse. Allowing a McDonald's takeaway food and drinks premises so close to the primary school is already going to put struggling parents, grandparents, carers under enormous pressure. When kids nag for food and drink morning and night, parents can say no, but parents shouldn't have to say no all the time, nor should parents be saying no every morning and every night. Macca's is a sometimes or an occasional food. It might just have to travel to get it, the 6Ks to Lake Haven. Our children are the most important, vulnerable species. Let's change that trajectory. You have the power to refuse this DA, to send a message to our kids that their health is more important than profit.
Vicky Davidson.
Thank you, panel, for allowing me to speak. You have had so far multiple residents this afternoon, and there will be some more speakers. Different but interconnected concerns about this development. Taken together, these concerns demonstrate a simple truth. This is not the right development for this site. I have emailed a deficiencies report relating to council's assessment to your facilitator, Brioni. It must be read before a decision can be made, please. First, safety is in a school precinct. It is a critical gap that an independent road safety audit or safe routes to school assessment has not been done. Second, unassessed ecological impacts. We also presented new verifiable evidence of an active grey-headed flying fox community corridor that passes directly over the development site. I'm responsible for some of the photos there before. A panel cannot approve a development when a threatened species impact has not been assessed. Third, scale, size and suitability. E1 local centre zoning requires development that is compatible with the surrounding neighbourhood and maintains amenity for nearby residents. And on suitability, this site fails. Fourth, amenity and health impact. Residents will experience increased noise, light and activity well into the night. Children at school will be exposed daily to a major fast food outlet directly opposite their classrooms, contrary to well-established public health evidence on fast food proximity and childhood activity. These impacts were either downplayed or not assessed at all. Fifth, the public interest is not served by approving a development which has no positive contribution to the village character or walkability. Six, advertise creation of 100 jobs if the DA is approved. Panel needs to consider the fact that the variety of food choices at our local eateries, cafes and bakeries would disappear if businesses start reducing their staff or even closing their business altogether. Even our local bakery nearby serves coffee to go with their pastries. Several cafe owners I have spoken to development, but due to their commitments today to their customers, they, being small businesses, could not attend this meeting, which is being conducted at their busiest time. One local business nearby nearly recently posted yesterday that they are closing with comments on social media saying, unfortunately, won't be the last one once McDonald's opens. And another one says, wait till Macca's, death of all of them. I mean, that's not very encouraging at all, is it? We want a variety of foods, not mass-produced foods that always taste the same. Our community wants to keep the current village atmosphere that we have worked so hard to achieve. McDonald's takeaway business would offer none of that, just fast food. Our request, given the significant deficiencies in council's assessment and the new material evidence presented today, we respectfully ask the panel to refuse the application because
Just advising, we've lost audio from you guys.
Thing 18. The report writers state the development will support the gentrification of the area. Question marks? In whose universe it is Macca's a development to gentrify an area? P139C. The report states the development is consistent with the development rules because it serves the needs of the people who live, work and visit the area. I think it's clear that this is untrue for a large number of local people. Next point. Finally, Macca's might promise what looks like a glowing number of jobs. Of what quality, I'm not sure. But how is it economic development for a local area when the business model of the company is multinational? And my final comment, the 56-page document is a product of many of the council, I'm sure.
You have an extra 40 seconds.
For one person like me who has no staff to read, absorb and critique such a turgid piece of writing, responding to a swathe of development rules I find obstructive to democratic engagement. The comment is I request council to look at offer training to introductory courses about how council works, where residents can interview and where we can access clear information. Yours sincerely, Diane Cluer.
Sorry, you guys are cut out again. Thank you.
Christine.
I think. Feeling like
Thank you. These.
Go early. We're going to ask them to start again so we can all hear it.
The next,
I have a microphone in the first place.
next speaker,
Why did they have it in the cupboard?
Aaron Armstrong, so trying to solve the problem, the external listeners. I think we better get on with it, Aaron. So would you like to speak up?
Sure. Hello, my name is Erin Armstrong and I'm another Toukley resident who is vehemently opposed to a McDonald's in our suburb. Firstly, I, like many Toukley residents, live within a few short minutes walk from Toukley Police Station, Toukley Fire Brigade and Toukley Ambulance Station. Every day I hear the sirens of these emergency services as they speed down main road. Very frequently, I also hear the drivers of these vehicles blasting their horns because they can't make their way through the traffic quick enough that already exists with the current infrastructure. Main road is a very basic two-way road, often with cars parked on either side. It doesn't have multiple lanes and no one is taking over anybody unless it is a literal emergency. And even then, emergency services can struggle to negotiate with the traffic. How do we think the flow of emergency services will be affected if a McDonald's goes in? People needing these services can expect longer wait times because Main Road was simply not designed for a business like McDonald's. The congestion inevitably created by McDonald's will only exacerbate the already restricted flow of traffic and will impede emergency services further. The second point is the fact that there are already two McDonald's nearby to the proposed site, one at Lake Haven and one at Wadalba. So it's not as though we're exactly starved for second grade fast food. That is your thing and you want it badly enough, you will drive the mere 6.3 k's to Lake Haven or the 11.6 k's to Wadalba. It's hardly a trek into the wilderness. Throwing in a third McDonald's at Toukley is beyond nonsensical, as it does not reflect our area's population and would be complete fast food overkill. I'd be interested to know how many people who are for this decision actually live in Toukley and would have to put up with all the literal garbage that would go along with another McDonald's. Not just mine, but many houses in Toukley would be significantly devalued as the result of a McDonald's. Tell me how this is fair. The McDonald's would signify a lack of respect for the locals who appreciate and love Toukley for what it is, a peaceful, quiet, clean and beautiful little suburb. Let's keep it that way and keep McDonald's out. Yes.
Andrew Armstrong, sorry.
Nobody said that.
Okay. Hello, my name is Andrew Armstrong. I'm a resident of Toukley and I have been holidaying here since the 1960s, when my grandfather built his holiday house in number 1 8th Avenue in 1957. I'm from Sydney and I moved up here 2.5 years ago permanently to eventually move into retirement one day when that time comes. I was unaware that there was a proposed McDonald's before picking my house in Jones Avenue, which is only about 200 odd metres away from the proposed site. I find this proposal an insult not only to me, but to the tight-knit community. McDonald's is not needed in such a small town like Toukley. I wouldn't have had considered moving here if I was aware of this ridiculous proposal. I came up here for the laid-back, peaceful area that I remembered as a kid and as an adult with my own kids. To my surprise to hear that this is on the agenda at a serious level for consideration is disgraceful and distasteful. Only one lane either way leading into Toukley should be enough to stop entertaining this utter joke of an idea. People left Sydney for decades way before me to get away from the craziness of Sydney for the peace and quiet and all that could be taken away by a silly decision of fast food brightly coloured clown show right in the middle of the town. The entrance knocked back McDonald's for good reason. They didn't want it, and we don't want it either. Last year, 400 people petitioned against it here in my area. I helped gather those petitions. In basic terms, there are enough McDonald's close by. The traffic is already bottlenecked here in Toukley. The location is outrageous, especially in front of a school. It is unhealthy junk food. It is an American franchise. We should be supporting Australian businesses. Not to mention, there is nothing else in Toukley that stays open 24 hours. This means people are going out of their way to get a late night or early morning feed, creating unwanted noise and disruption in a very peaceful town. McDonald's, go somewhere else. We don't want you here. Thank you.
Yep. Williams, Lee, there.
Good afternoon, panel members. I'm Lee Williams. I'm a local resident, a parent at Toukley Public School, and I hold postgraduate qualification in social change and development. My background involves analysing how policy and planning decisions affect community wellbeing and vulnerable groups, particularly children. I would like to speak specifically about the traffic impact assessment and Council's conclusion that it has satisfactorily addressed school drop-off and pick-up conditions. The traffic report is framed around vehicle delay, not child safety. It does not count or model school pedestrian movements at all, despite it being a school zone. Central Coast Council's Development Control Plan and Transport for New South Wales guidance both require that vulnerable road users, especially children, are explicitly considered. That has not occurred, and as a result, the assessment does not meet the intent of those documents. Council's assessment notes that traffic surveys were undertaken during school hours and that peak traffic times coincided with school drop-off and pick-up. I respectfully submit that overlap in timing does not equal analysis. While vehicle counts were taken during these hours, the assessment still contains no pedestrian counts, no mapping of where children cross, no assessment of group crossing, no analysis of parent parking behaviour, and no assessment of bus. A vehicle survey conducted during school hours is not the same thing as a school-specific safety assessment. The traffic report identifies 7 crashes in 5 years at or near the intersections used by Toukley primary school children. Council's assessment relies on the absence of a recurring crash pattern. In a school precinct, the absence of a pattern does not mean the absence of risk. Under the Safe System approach used in New South Wales, the presence of vulnerable road users requires a more conservative approach, not acceptance of increased turning movements and drive-through traffic. Importantly, these concerns are not only raised by residents. The New South Wales Department of Education, in its formal submission, has identified risks to students, including queuing overflow onto Evans Road, unsafe heavy vehicle movements, inadequate assessment of pedestrian and child safety. Those concerns directly contradict the conclusion that school drop-off and pick-up have been satisfactorily addressed. The traffic impact assessment does not meet the threshold set by Central Coast Council's guiding policy or by Transport for New South Wales road safety principles when applied to a primary school environment. For these reasons, I respectfully submit that the panel does not have the evidence required to conclude that this development can operate safely in this location and to please refuse the application. Thank you for your time.
Well, that concludes our list of 14 registered speakers. Thank you very much for how you've conducted that from the audience point of view. We now hear from speakers in favour of the recommendation. Jared, are you? Everybody with you, Jared, is that?
Yes, good afternoon all. Yep, so the 3 following speakers on the list, Shelby, Charlie and Stuart, are all in the room with me. So what we might do is I'll speak first, followed by Shelby and Charlie. Stuart's here just to answer any questions regarding operational aspects of McDonald's. And then we might leave questions to the end and then we can answer collectively if that works for the panel.
Thank you.
Cool. We thank you all for your time to speak today and endorse Council's supportive recommendation in relation to the proposed McDonald's operation at 370-372 Main Road, Tukley. McDonald's is proposed in a strategic location that has good transport accessibility and where takeaway food and drink premises are permitted with consent in this local centre zone under the Central Coast LEP. The site complies with the LEP floor space ratio and building height development standards. It represents a type and scale of development anticipated on the site as enabled by statutory planning legislation. The proposal generally complies with most DCP controls, with any variations appropriately justified as noted in Council's report. The development application was lodged in January 2024 with a suite of technical assessments prepared by qualified and experienced experts in accordance with legislative requirements and methods, addressing environmental impacts relating to noise, traffic, contamination, odour, all of which comply with the relevant standards and have been reviewed and confirmed as acceptable by Council. A waste management plan was also submitted detailing the proposed waste and recycling arrangements for the development, which align with Council's and EPA waste management guidelines. Suitable provision of on-site waste and recycling bins will be provided for customers and litter patrol will be frequently undertaken 3 times a day on the site and adjoining public footpath as set out in the submitted and Council endorsed plan of management. McDonald's have worked with Council during the processing stage to reduce building bulk and improve building articulation, reduce the size and scale of signage, provide clarity on goods deliveries and waste management, and address Council's and Transport for New South Wales traffic, access and engineering requirements to an acceptable standard. Specific consideration has been given to a building and landscaping design that includes various new larger and lower lying specimens that emphasises the corner location and results in a good visual outcome. An updated crime risk assessment has been prepared and provided to Council, setting out the areas, crime statistics, design and operational measures to ensure any situational crime risk is appropriately mitigated. All lighting on the site will be designed in accordance with the Australian standard to ensure minimal light spill on surrounding neighbours, noting that the site is in an urban environment. Individual health impacts goes beyond the scope of matters for consideration under the EPNA Act. However, we note that McDonald's offers a variety of other options, including wraps, salads, fruit, cafe coffee and bakery items at all restaurants across the country. Overall, we agree with the Council that the McDonald's is appropriate in this location, that all environmental impacts will be sufficiently managed, and there is no planning-based reason that would warrant refusal in this instance. Thank you very much. I'll hand over to Shelby.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. First of all, thank you to the panel members and Central Coast Council for considering our application today. And thank you again to Council for recommending application for approval. My name is Shelby Woodgate. I'm the Head of Development for New South Wales at Macca's. There was a lot of talk today around the word global. Here in Australia, we chose to turn McDonald's into Macca's. We are proud to say that 1 in 12 Australians are currently employed at Macca's or have previously been employed in our restaurants. If approved, the proposed development in Tukley would create hundreds of local jobs and provide local youth employment with the opportunity to include an investment of over $10 million into the Tukley community. We're proud to say we've just launched our National Archways to Opportunity scheme, an innovative new program offering more than 20,000 Macca's employees nationwide the opportunity to transform real workplace skills into university credits in some of our leading Aussie universities.
Would you like prize with that?
With regards to turning more than 85% of our Aussie restaurants are owned and operated by local franchisees. These operators are leaders in their community and are proud to partner with kids' local sporting teams and sponsor local community organisations. These operators are committed to giving back to the communities in which they operate. With regards to the comments around healthy eating, we are Proud to say we offer alternative options on our menu, and we're committed to sourcing almost all of our ingredients locally through our long-standing partnership with Aussie farmers. We take all your community concerns very seriously, and we want to commit to being good neighbours. We welcome the opportunity to discuss how we can better serve the Toukley community. I ask that any operational questions be directed to Stuart and any planning queries be directed to Jared.
We're just handing over to Charlie now, who's our traffic expert.
Hello, my name is Charlie Seventekin. I'm speaking on behalf of the traffic engineering team for the proposed development. The transport impact assessment did not underestimate the impacts of the development as the modelling works were undertaken for the peak hours. The assessment was prepared strictly consistent with Transport for New South Wales guidelines. The assessment of the main road and Evans Road intersection has shown that this intersection will continue to perform satisfactorily within Transport for New South Wales standards following the commencement of operations. The forecast incremental traffic generation has a marginal impact on current and future traffic network operations with minimal increases in degree of saturation, average delays, and the 95th percentile vehicle queues. The transport impact assessment also outlines that the proposed access arrangements on Evans Road are consistent with the relevant standards and guidelines. The transport impact assessment outlines that there will only be 12 to 15 delivery or refuse collection activities across a full week. This is approximately 2 truck movements per day and considered minor from a traffic engineering perspective. The transport impact assessment also outlines that heavy vehicle movements associated with the development will take place outside the school zone hours. We investigated the crash history of the Evans Road and Main Road intersection. The transport impact assessment does not indicate any recurring crash type that would preclude the development. The transport impact assessment has reviewed the pedestrian connectivity in the vicinity of the area, including the nearby Toukley Public School. The transport impact assessment identifies that there are several signalised pedestrian crossings on Evans Road for children to use. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our speaking. I'm happy to take questions from the panel.
Got any questions? Yes, Julian.
My question relates, Jared, is your opening ambit referred to it being a strategic location. That can be interpreted in many, many different ways. So if you can please elaborate on why it's a strategic location for the applicant.
Yep, sure. So I think there's 2 parts there. Firstly, from a zoning and planning perspective, the zoning allows for it, and secondly, from a market point of view, McDonald's obviously see opportunity in this area, and hence that location was chosen. In addition to be located with good accessible public or good transport accessibility off a main road.
Yes.
300 kids, yeah.
And the previous death.
And money.
Very poor reason.
Money.
I have some questions, please. Can you just confirm, because I just couldn't quickly find it then, what are the peak hour operation of McDonald's? Because I just want to compare that with the school peak hours. Jared or Charlie?
When you say peak hours, do you mean sort of peak traffic generating hours?
I think that's probably the peak hours, yes.
That's a commercial question. I'll let Vivian.
No answer?
I'm trying to think what do you reckon?
Lunchtime and
Probably lunchtime. Usually at lunchtime.
Every.
No.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Please don't what? I'm trying to get the answer.
Excellent.
Lunch and evening hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, a bit of lunch and evening hours.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, there's a lag.
Morning coffees?
So when you say evening, what time's the evening?
say after work hours, about 5 p.m.
Work hours.
Tradies, 2 o'clock.
Another question.
Tradies.
Excuse me. Please come to order and let the panel ask questions.
In terms of the hours of operation, why is it necessary to have a 24-hour operation in this location? Particularly given what you said to the peak hours, but why 24 hours in this location? It's not a dense urban area of metropolitan Sydney, for example. Why do you think it's necessary to have a 24-hour operation in this location?
From a market perspective, there's value in operating 24 hours in this location, and as we've demonstrated in the planning application, we can operate 24/7 with acceptable effects on the neighbours and surrounding locality.
And look, having said that, we've listened to all the comments from the community today, and we are happy to review our trading hours and reduce them.
My next question is there any external intercom system operating in the premises?
For the drive-through? Is that what you mean?
So it would only be the drive-through, is it? That would be the intercom.
Yes. Yeah. We don't have outside music that plays. It's just the intercom.
Just the intercom. Okay, which is in the drive-through section. Okay, thank you. And I recall that there's a 1.8 metre high acoustic wall along the northern boundary. But I think it's with the boundary of Aldi where the intercom is.
Yes, that's correct. I think there's acoustic wall running down both the eastern and northern boundaries.
Thank you. There's only one disabled parking space. I'm just not sure what the requirement would be for a facility like this, whether it's normal to have 1 or 2 disabled car parking spaces. I would have thought 2 would have been the normal requirement, but perhaps Charlie could clarify that if he's aware of it.
Yeah, the minimum requirement would be 1, but there has been other developments where we proposed 2. So maybe that's probably what making the panel think that could be 2, but the proposed 1 disabled space, I can confirm that that's sufficient and consistent guidelines.
We're happy to provide a second. If that would help.
Yeah, certainly.
We could definitely do that.
Yeah.
We just had to convert one of the non-accessible to an accessible.
Yeah. And we just need to probably check if the second one will get good utilization out of it before we do so.
Thank you. The final question is there's an existing tree on the corner of Main and Evans. Can you just confirm why that tree needs to be removed?
As part of the driveway arrangement.
Sorry, just confirming that's the one on the...
Which tree are we referring to? Let's have a look at it.
Right on the corner of Main and Evans Road.
Ah, okay.
Right. You could just have a look at that with the plans, because I think it's far enough from the driveway and the
Yeah. Sorry, can you give us just 20 seconds?
Yep.
So that one's going to remove that to facilitate the stormwater connection and avoid conflict with the drive-through. And you're also just noting that we're proposing to replace, I think, plant 3 larger trees up to 7 metres of height along that location as well.
Okay, thank you. That's all the questions from me, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Charlie.
Yes, yeah.
Look, may I also ask, I'm just intrigued to know where there are other examples of a McDonald's store opposite a school, be it a public school or a private school. That's one question. And second, where are other examples of a McDonald's store being near a school and also being 24/7? Could you please answer those questions?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, saying Cromwell McDonald's.
That's one example.
24/7.
Yes, 24/7 next to a school.
Yeah, there's Kellyville in Sydney, Kellyville North. That's 24/7. We've got over 1,000 restaurants nationwide. We could compile a list, but Yeah,
Just off the top
this
of
is
my
not,
head.
this is not the only one. But again, like I said previously, happy to review and concede on the 24 hours of operation.
So you can't think off the top of your head, like a school having McDonald's, so that's 24/7 apart from Kellyville. Is that the only
Yeah.
one?
Redlands in Neutral Bay.
Yeah, so we've got off the top of our head, we still see Redlands and Neutral Bay,
And Cremorne.
Cremorne,
Kellyville.
Kellyville. Yeah, so that's just off the top of our heads. There potentially would be more out there, I'd say, given the amount of restaurants there are in Australia. So it's definitely not an uncommon thing.
Doesn't mean it's right.
Yes,
That's why they can only name two.
And I'll come back to getting them out. You right, Julie?
Yeah, that's fine.
No.
Okay, thanks. You made a comment earlier about you'd be happy to look at reduced hours. What did you have in mind?
Can you give us 20 seconds? Sorry.
Yes.
3 lanes one way, 3 lanes the other.
Kellyville, yeah.
It's a highway, no schools.
Yeah, that's right.
As we come from starting on.
That's right.
Section to get to
school.
North Ryde is,
Because they know.
Their report also said 3 o'clock was one of the peak hours for McDonald's. Their report. Kellyville's roads 3.
Neutral Bay.
Yeah, that's right. 7
So it's not just-
That's what I thought.
not just peak, it's secondary peak. So it's a couple of blocks.
Hi, are you there?
We should be allowed to
Yes.
ask questions.
Yeah. So we had a discussion and would be willing to reduce the hours operation Monday to Thursday from 5 a.m. till midnight, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
What a sterling effort.
Questions about court.
Order, please. If you don't want the panel to put your objections to the proponent, make a noise.
Be allowed question time?
No questions. It's question time for the panel to the proponent. Got technical difficulties, so please let it happen in silence.
My second question relates to light spill. You referred to light spill being restricted to neighbouring, not affecting so much neighbouring property. In terms of the lights that you're proposing to use, what's the story as far as vertical light spill is concerned? Particularly picking up on some of the issues raised by some of the submitters in relation to that corridor. Are they specified with minimal vertical light spill?
Yep. So all the lighting on the site is designed in accordance with the Australian standard, which requires the lighting to be angled down towards the site.
But they're not, okay, so just the standard Australian standard ones for a commercial area, is that correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thank you for that. Next question related to pedestrian safety analysis. Can you just enlighten us as to what safety analysis you did in relation to pedestrian movements, and particularly is there's actually, I believe, a triple driveway. There's one driveway entry to the drive-through area, and then a two-way driveway for the general car park, and also the exit for drive-through. So can you just walk us through what you've done in terms of pedestrian safety analysis and so on, please?
Yes, certainly. So we followed the Australian standard 2890.1 while developing the driveway arrangements. So we paid extra attention to driveway location. That's exactly why we located the driveway as far as possible from the signalized intersection as well. So The driveway arrangements are also consistent with Australia's guidelines to geometric road design in Part 4A. So, so on this basis, we consider that proposed driveway location and the geometric details of it are consistent with the TFNSW guidelines and nationwide documentation. So regarding the pedestrian connectivity, actually Evans Road has very good pedestrian connectivity signalized crossings that provides safe crossing for the community. So Main Road and Evans Road intersection has 4 crossings, and then further down the road on Evans Road, there's another signalized intersection which provides formal signalized crossing arrangements for pedestrians. Thank you.
I understand what you're saying in terms of the driveways meeting the Australian standard and so on, but my question more related to site context and whether or not you'd actually done any pedestrian safety analysis, and I guess the interaction with that and the driveway layout, etc., given that the Australian standards are a generic standard that apply to driveways this generally and not necessarily this site specifically.
All right, so I understand the question. It is well received. What we propose to you is that we undertake a road safety audit.
Yeah, I think given the feedback we've received today from the community, I think it would be a good idea to propose as a condition of consent a road safety audit just to verify the findings in the traffic impact statement.
Sorry, could you repeat that again, please?
We're just saying, given the obviously we appreciate the feedback that's been provided by the community today, a lot of it's related to traffic and congestion and pedestrian safety. I think what would be the best thing to do is we can offer a condition of consent to prepare and submit a road safety audit, basically verifying the findings set out in the traffic impact statement. And if need be, we can look at any additional measures if it is recommended in that statement.
Okay, thank you. And my next question and final question, I'd be pleased to know, relates to the car park and the provision of CCTV within that car park. And I'm particularly thinking about late night activity that may occur in that car parking area. And is there CCTV, and how would that monitoring occur within your premises?
Sure. Yeah, so regarding the CCTV, we'll have 24/7 monitoring, not only inside, but throughout the whole car park, the whole time, essentially. So it'll cover the whole car park, all those little nooks and crannies which you think may not be able to be easily seen. We'll make sure all the CCTV is pointed in the correct locations. In addition to that, we're happy to provide as a condition of consent,
basically it's a security patrol. So particularly during those late hours where it's more likely that crime or loitering might eventuate, we can have sort of roaming security patrols that sort of pass through the sites, identify any potential crime risks, and then basically either tell them to move on or contact the police. And we can capture that in a condition of consent around a security management plan. That will help.
So can I just flesh out a bit further? When you refer to security patrol, are you referring to security company just doing the rounds and dropping in occasionally, or someone there for the entire period?
Yep, so we'd coordinate with a security company and get them to drive past at certain times during the night. So it wouldn't be just like a random one or a security guard, it'd be someone, a security patrol in a car that would stop in on the site during the night at certain times.
They'd always be on call and within the vicinity.
It's going to help. Okay, thank you.
Other queries?
No, thank you. I'm fine.
Thank you. Mr. Chairperson, did we get the rebuttal or a question them at all? No, this is our exercise. We've heard from you, we've heard from them. So what I'd propose to do now is that we close the meeting. And we will meet ourselves now to consider all that we've heard. Thank you very much for your participation.
Just one moment. When I arrived, I actually asked the lady that I had tried to actually put my name down to actually add further to my proposal. I didn't hear back from you, and I believe I have quite a succinct point, just one quick point to make.
Well, please come up to front and make it.
Thank you.
Few points that they've mainly been covered, but my son and daughter-in-law had the misfortune. They thought they were very lucky. They moved to Blaxland. They didn't realise when they rented their house that McDonald's was on the corner. Now we're talking about a 4-lane highway to turn to their place. They were right down the end of that street. The traffic would be parked. McDonald's, the people who chose to eat there, their great big car park did not cover enough parking for the number of people that wanted to eat there. But the worst part was the traffic on this 4-lane highway would be like there was a turning lane. So, I presume, the traffic would be backed up. That parking lane would be full. If you weren't in the other lane, you could be held up. I mean, it got to the point, if we were visiting them, we tried not to ever go at school times, before school, and after school were horrific, absolutely horrific. So I think that should be noted. And I think in the feasibility study, we should have looked at other areas. Like, now they talked about Kellyville. I just did Google search. I couldn't find a school near the Kellyville McDonald's, but you know, I just think a 4-lane highway wasn't enough to cope. And Blaxland's not a particularly big place. Whereas look at the Central Coast, people going to the beach, people picking up their kids. It's just terrible, I think, when you look at the high schools finishing, people coming towards the beach. And the last thing I just wanted to say was I'm lucky enough to live near Jenny Dixon Park. There's a group of us that pick up rubbish, and I cannot believe the amount of McDonald's rubbish I pick up at this stage when, you know, they're quite far away. So they talk about a drive-through, and yes, we're supplying rubbish then, but it's an oxymoron. It's a drive-through. You drive off and you take your rubbish with you, don't you? So I rest my case.
Did you just...
Sorry, Helen Simmons.
Well, I now close formally close the public part of the meeting, and thank you all very much for your attendance.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.